I felt terrible.
Mm.
And when I had something sweet, then of course I wanted more sweets. I'm that person that if I went to a restaurant, I would eat a small salad and I would say, bring me the biggest, baddest, meanest dessert you have. And don't bring extra spoons because I'm not going to share it. So, that's the kind of person I was. And one of my major addictions was cake icing, like birthday cake icing. Some people call it frosting. I live in the South and we call it icing. Anyway, I would eat that. So if I was out somewhere, I'd be good all week. We go out to eat on Saturday night and I would think, oh, let me just get a dessert while I'm here because I'm out. And then I would feel terrible. I mean, I would feel like I was in a coma, like a sugar coma. I would feel so bad. And then Sunday, it would activate the demon again in my head, and it would be like, don't you want some more sugar?
Audra, how did you find carnivore?
So I started surfing on the internet, and I just happened to run across Kelly Hogan and Dr. Ken Berry. And I started listening to what they were saying, and I was like, they just eat meat. At the time, Kelly was saying, I've been eating meat for 12 years. And I'm like, wow. So I just become very intrigued with it. And the more I listened to it, the more intrigued I was, the more I wanted to learn, the more I wanted to find out, the more I wanted to give up sugar because I was very addicted to sugar. And it took me a while. I kind of stayed back in the back for a little while, and I listened and I watched, and I tried to learn as much as I could about it. I mean, I literally found out about it on YouTube.
So, what was it that made you start looking for it? Was it you just felt you needed to get off sugar, or was it some other reason?
Well, long story short, I've done every diet known to man, you name it. Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig. I even had weight loss surgery. And every single time I would find my way back to sugar. So I was in one of those places where I was back on sugar, addicted to sugar, eating all the sugary snacks and foods. And I'm not big on food, I'm big on sugar. That's how not now, but used to be. And I just ran across something that said, cut your sugar addiction, stop sugar for good. And I was like, really? How do you do that? And it just caught my eye.
Having been someone who tried, every diet out there, were you at all skeptical about this, or did you feel like, okay, well, maybe this is the way to go?
Well, honestly, I started looking at it in January of 2021. And from January to September, I would do really, really good during the week. And on the weekend, I would fall off the wagon. I'd do really, really good all week. And I'd say, okay, no sugar. I'm just going to eat meat. And then on the weekend, I would fall off the wagon. So I was kind of a little skeptical, but I was determined to do it because everybody kept saying, if you will completely eliminate the sugar, which, I mean, people think sugar is just sugar, but it's not. Bread is sugar, carbs are sugar, sugar is sugar, sugary drinks is sugar, sugar comes in many forms. So everybody said, if you'll just eliminate the sugar, you will stop craving sugar. And now I'm almost 3 years in, and I would have never believed anybody if they had told me that prior to finding carnivore.
Wow, almost 3 years. Um,
September will be 3 years.
wow.
I don't
So,
really count the January to September. I don't count that part of falling off, falling on. Yeah, I didn't fall off the wagon. I would jump off the wagon on the weekends. And I mean, I couldn't figure out why I couldn't do good on Monday again. But anyway, nevertheless, September the 1st of 2021, I said, that's it. That's it. No more sugar on the weekends. No more cheating. I've got to do this and I've got to stick to it hardcore. And as soon as I started sticking to it hardcore and I didn't have I quit cheating and I didn't do bad on the weekends, all the cravings went away. I was blown away by it. I
mm,
have never been in my life any length of time without craving sugar. It
um,
is very life changing. I had no problem ever losing weight. I could lose weight, not a problem. I couldn't keep it off because every time I would lose the weight, I would say, oh, look, I've lost weight. I'm in a good place. My clothes size have gone down. Let me just go ahead and have a cookie. And that's all it took. And then I was literally face down in the ditch again, and the sugar bus ran over me, and I was hooked again.
And I mean, I've been there myself on occasion, and I find that like the more that happens, the more that kind of, I don't know, makes you feel like it adds to kind of a feeling of like, I can't do this. I'm never going to be able to do this. And makes you just feel like it's just not me. I'm just destined to be like this forever. I'm destined to be overweight, or I'm destined to be unhappy and filling myself with sugar forever. Did you feel similar?
Yes. Like I said, I've done every diet known to man, literally. And I even went so far as to have weight loss surgery. I had weight loss surgery. I was in the hospital in January of 2013. I decided this is going to be the end all fix all. I'm going to have weight loss surgery. It's going to be great. I'm never going to have to worry about weight again, because that's what they told me. You won't yo-yo diet anymore. You won't gain the weight back. No problem. Oh, that's not true. So I was in the hospital. I should have been there 2 days. I was in the hospital 8 weeks. I developed 2 leaks in my stomach. The first time they gave me red Gatorade. I had something called a JP drain, where that way they know if you have any kind of leak. Well, the red Gatorade that I drank went into the JP drain, and they're like, "Oh, this is not good. You got to go to emergency surgery now." So they literally took me back. I had 2 surgeries in 2 days, basically. Like I said, I developed 2 leaks. So that meant anything that went into my stomach was leaking out into this JP drain. And of course, they were really freaked out about it, didn't know what to do. At the time, I was thinking, why did I do this? Why didn't I just stay fat? Why did I do this? I mean, it was a nightmare. I was in PO for 21 weeks, and that means nothing by mouth. I had a PICC line in my arm that went down into beside the aorta, and I had something called TPN, which is total parental nutrition. And I had this big, huge, like 5 or 10 pound bag of fluid that I carried around with me all day, that stayed in my arm. And that was my nutrition for 21 weeks. They didn't even want me to have ice. They didn't want me to have water. They didn't want me to have anything. And when I finally was able to come home after 8 weeks in the hospital, my kitchen looked like a miniature hospital. I went through 32 syringes of saline solution a day. I had 2 ports. I would have to give myself Benadryl because I had hives. They gave me high-powered antibiotics. Anything that I needed had to go through my veins. I was not allowed to have anything in my mouth.
That
I
sounds
mean,
like a nightmare.
it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. Thank goodness I'm fine now. I got past it. Everything was good. However, when I had to go see a surgeon, he went down my throat twice to repair the leaks from within my stomach. And like I said, here I am. I'm still 21 weeks, nothing by mouth. I mean, they didn't even really even want me to swallow my own saliva. And I'm like, well, that's an automatic thing your body does. How do you not swallow your own saliva? But anyway, like brush your teeth, whatever you do, nothing can go down your throat. They didn't even want me to use toothpaste, use as little water as possible because we don't need anything to go into your stomach. But anyway, long story short, I did lose a good bit of weight. I lost about 85 pounds, and I was doing really good. I was really happy about it. I was like, this is good. They said I won't gain the weight back. I'll be fine. You will not gain the weight back. This will fix your problem. That is not true. With the type of surgery I had a sleeve. I had what's called a gastric sleeve. So they take out 85% of your stomach and they leave you with 15%. I did not have a bypass. So anything that I eat, if I eat 1,000 calories a day, I absorb 1,000 calories. Where some people who've had a bypass, if they eat 1,000, they don't absorb all those calories. So basically, time. I mean, I'm home now. Things are getting better. They had me to start eating crackers and mashed potatoes, okay, so that my stomach would start to work and start to heal itself. And that's exactly what it did. It actually healed the 2 leaks in my stomach by eating like crackers and mashed potatoes. So now here I am, 80, 85 pounds down. I'm feeling good about it. And then guess what I said? Let's have a cookie. Let's have something sweet. And that's what I did. And then next thing you know, 1 cookie became 2, 2 became 4. And, I was face down in the ditch. And there we go again. The sugar bus ran over me. I was completely addicted again. So basically my weight went back up a little bit, not a lot. I didn't gain all the weight I had lost, but my weight went back up some. Then I developed an eye problem that they had to give me high doses of steroids for. Well, I don't know if you've ever had steroids, but the steroids were basically by IV. They were 1,000 milligrams a day for 3 days. I gained like 30 pounds in 30 days. It literally blows you up. So I decided to fast. So I fasted for 30 days, lost the 30 pounds, but then I still was up from before having the eye problem. So I went on keto for a while, and keto didn't work too good for me because of the keto treats. There again, with even the artificial sweeteners, it was still keeping me craving something sweet. And then I was on keto for about 2 years, and then I found Carnivore.
And so how soon did you start seeing improvements, whether it was weight loss or otherwise, with Carnivore?
Well, honestly, in the beginning, I thought if I gave up, if I just ate the meat, it would be okay to chew the chewing gum, still chew the sugar-free chewing gum. That's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. The sugar-free chewing gum still keeps you wanting something sweet. So, like I said, from January to September, I was still delving in, playing back and forth. Be good during the week, bad on the weekend. I was still having some sugar-free chewing gum. I was still having some sweeteners. And then on September the 1st, I said, that's it. So I would say about 2 to 3, 4 hard weeks of only meat, beef, butter, bacon, eggs, some chicken, some pork. 3 to 4 weeks, I would say. That's when I saw the shift. That's when I saw the shift in my mindset, the cravings, the thinking about food. That's when I saw things really changing for me. I noticed I was not constantly thinking about what am I going to have? What am I going to this? I would forget to eat because I really didn't have those cravings screaming in my head all the time.
So just going back to that period where you were kind of on and off between January and September of 2021, what was the feeling like? So you did the whole week, you got to Friday, you're feeling good, I imagine. You're probably sleeping better, more energy, and then you went and you had the cookie and whatever on Saturday. What was the change like between the Friday and the Saturday?
I felt terrible. And when I had something sweet, then of course I wanted more sweets. I'm that person that if I went to a restaurant, I would eat a small salad and I would say, bring me the biggest, baddest, meanest dessert you have. And don't bring extra spoons because I'm not going to share it. So, that's the kind of person I was. And one of my major addictions was cake icing, like birthday cake icing. Some people call it frosting. I live in the South and we call it icing. Anyway, I would eat that. So if I was out somewhere, I'd be good all week. We go out to eat on Saturday night and I would think, oh, let me just get a dessert while I'm here because I'm out, and then I would feel terrible. I mean, I would feel like I was in a coma, like a sugar coma. I would feel so bad. And then Sunday, it would activate the demon again in my head. And it would be like, don't you want some more sugar? You want more sugar, because you'd had some Saturday. And it's that craving. I tell people all the time that, when before I was carnivore, you would hear this knocking at the door, and it was more like a pounding, just pound, 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 and you would have to answer the door. The craving, you'd have to answer the craving. You could probably relate. If you didn't answer the craving, you were ill, you were grouchy, you were crabby. You're like, I just need my fix. I mean, you were like a sugar demon. Now, being carnivore as long as I have, sometimes I just hear a little peck at the door, just a little tap tap, and I can just walk away. I can say I don't have to answer the door. I don't have to listen to it. I can literally walk away. Where before I was carnivore, I could not walk away. I mean, it had a hold on me for sure.
Wow. That's interesting. And yes, I can relate to that feeling of you need to go and get something now. Eat. You have to get something now. Go, go, go. And it's like no matter what you're doing, if you don't drop what you're doing, you can't concentrate. You can't
Mm-mm.
focus. You get angrier and more frustrated, and your thinking's broken. And yeah. Um.
Yes. I would get
So
stressed and I'll be like, I got to go get something. And if I didn't have anything in my office, or I get in the car and go to the store, come back with 3 or 4 candy bars, and I wasn't happy till they were all gone. I mean,
and
I would eat them till I was sick.
and then when they were all gone, did you kind of look around at yourself with all the wrappers lying on the floor and kind of feel like I shouldn't have done that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
It's it's crazy, right? Because it's like hard drugs,
Yeah.
you know?
I never knew that sugar was an addiction. I used to think, okay, cigarettes, alcohol, drugs, shopping, those are addictions. Eating sugar is not an addiction. What are you talking about? But it is. I realize now it is very much an addiction. And I honestly have more sympathy for people who have other addictions now, because I used to think, why can't you just quit smoking? Or why can't you just quit drinking? I get it now. I totally get it now. I mean, before I didn't understand why you couldn't just lay it down. And I am not a moderator. No, 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 no. I have to be an abstainer. I'm that person that if I eat one Oreo, I got to eat the whole row. And I'm not happy till the whole row's gone. And then the other 2 rows are still there. So at some point, you got to have those. So for me, I just have to be an abstainer. I have to have none.
Yeah, I think yeah, we're very similar in that regard. Yeah. So for the last 3 years, how have you been eating? Like how many times a day? And
Well, I'm one of those people that I do fast. Sometimes I'll fast 10 hours, 12 hours, sometimes a 24, 48. It just kind of varies. A lot of people don't believe in eating intuitively. That's worked for me. If I'm not hungry, then I don't eat. When I am hungry, I do eat. Um, they pick at me all the time about I've gotten the title of the Queen of Dehydration, or the Dehydrating Queen, because I dehydrate a lot of meat. So I dehydrate ribeye, chuck eye, I dehydrate hamburger, I dehydrate pork loin, I dehydrate bacon. And for me, I like it. It's convenient to take with me anywhere. I just enjoy dehydrating meat. And I usually take it to meetups. And people are like, are you coming to the meetup? I'm like, yeah. Are you bringing dehydrated meat? Yeah. They're like, I can't wait. But I don't sell it or anything. I just make it, and I have a YouTube on making dehydrated meat, so it shows people how to make it, and I just enjoy it. I enjoy taking it to people, and I enjoy people enjoying it and realizing that they don't always have to cook something. But as far as how do I eat, some days I eat dehydrated meat. Some days I cook hamburger patties. Some days I have one meal. Some days I have 2 meals. Some days, if I've eaten a good bit, like maybe a weekend where we went out a lot, I had a lot of steak, a lot of beef or something, I may not be hungry till maybe Monday afternoon. So I just try to kind of eat intuitively. I feel like my body knows what I need.
I think the intuitive eating is really interesting. Again, probably coming from a very similar place that you have. It's so nice to be eating in a way where if you wake up in the morning, you can go about your day and not think about food at all. And, at some point during the day, your body's just going to say to you, maybe in the next few hours, you might feel like eating something. So you want to start thinking about that now. Whereas in the past times, it would have been, you need to eat now, anything, get it. Just that rubbish can over there. Go over to the rubbish can and find something in there, anything at all. We need to eat. And it's just complete 180 degrees, right?
Oh, used to every morning. I was like, what am I going to have? North Carolina allergies. Every morning it would be like, what am I going to have? Pop Tarts, kid cereal, a king size Snickers. I can remember when a king size Snickers was like breakfast of the champions. Now, I mean, I'm honestly not hungry in the mornings because I do normally will fuel like lunchtime or in the evenings. And I mean, used to it was, what am I going to eat sweet? That's what I'll get up with on my mind because I never stopped eating the sugar. Before carnivore, I did not have any health issues. The only health issues I have are allergies, and I did have asthma, and my asthma's all but gone. But I really had mild asthma for the most part. I never had severe, never been hospitalized for it or anything like that. But I didn't have high blood pressure. I didn't have high cholesterol. I did not have diabetes. I didn't have anything like that prior to carnivore. For me, it was about the weight loss. I wanted to lose weight. That's why I had the weight loss surgery. And then I was so disappointed because I thought that would be my end all fix all, and it was not. However, had I known about carnivore prior to that, I would have done carnivore and I would have not had the weight loss surgery. For me, this is sustainable. This is something I can do from now on. This stopped all the sugar cravings. It stopped all the sugar demon in my head. I don't think about food the way I used to. I mean, used to, I joke with everybody because I used to be really hooked on, like I said, cake icing and white chocolate Reese's. And you could get that four pack, the king size pack. And I would say to my friends, I would say, don't ask for one because I'm going to eat all four of them. If you want one, I'll buy you your own pack. And if you can't eat them, I'll help you eat your four. But you can't have one of my four. And they're like, really? And I'm like, really? Watch me eat all four of them. But I mean, I look back now and I think, wow, the one regret I have with carnivore is I did not start it 10 years ago. I wish I would have started it 10 years ago or even more. I mean, even more. Like I said, I didn't have any health problems, but I've seen a lot of things change since I've become carnivore.
As someone, again, like myself, that was consuming a lot of sugar and was addicted to sugar, did you ever find yourself with oral health issues?
Oh yeah. My mother put my dentist kids through college with the cavities in mine and my brother's mouth. I kid you not. I mean, we had cavities all the time because we grew up on sugar. We were allowed to have Kool-Aid with, 3 cups of sugar in your Kool-Aid. And, we had all kinds of candy, all kinds of treats. Every afternoon when you got home from school, it was, a cup of Kool-Aid and 2 or 3 cookies. That was your afternoon snack because you did good. You went to school. So we were always rewarded. But yeah, I did have a lot of cavities. I had a lot of
Mm.
cavities as a child.
And that's improved now.
Oh yeah. I knock
Mm.
on wood. I don't know when I had a cavity last. Years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um, and like coupled with that, was there anything like any kind of fungal infections or viral infections? Like I remember kind of candida kind of thing in my mouth and stuff. But
Actually, now that you mention that, I did deal with some candida. I was told that I had candida like in my gut, and that I needed to try to get away from that to make my gut the gut bacteria more healthy, because when you eat all that sugar, then you're just getting more and more candida, more yeast gets into your system. And then, then you're just a mess, and it totally screws up your gut bacteria. So yeah, but I never had any. I did used to get a lot of mouth ulcers. I get the mouth ulcer on the inside of your mouth, but I don't have those anymore. So I don't know if that had something to do with it. I used to have a lot of skin tags too. I would get skin tags on my neck, and my friend was like, "Oh, it's because you wear a necklace." And I was like, "Okay, let me stop wearing a necklace." So I stopped wearing a necklace, and that didn't help. But when I went carnivore, they all fell off. I just was like, "Wow, those are gone." And I was starting to get neuropathy in my right foot. At night, when I would lay down in the bed, it would feel like somebody was like doing a pin in my toe, and it was real uncomfortable. I don't have that anymore. Completely went away, and I don't take any medication except allergy medicine, Zyrtec, because I do have environmental allergies. I want carnivore to cure that. My allergies are less than they were. They're not as bad as they once were, but they're not gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like carnivore to take away my allergies as well.
Yeah.
I'm scared to go back to my hometown because I know the allergies will just go crazy again.
Oh, when I was
Um,
in Tennessee, mine were not as bad, but within 12 to 14 hours of being back in North Carolina, it all returned. So today, it's kind of funny. Today, I actually went and had my teeth cleaned at my dentist, and we were talking about why I all of a sudden now have tartar inside my mouth on my bottom teeth on the inside where my tongue is. And I said, I've never had that till I became carnivore. And my dentist, and I've talked to many carnivores, and many of my friends have the same thing. They have no tartar, no plaque, nothing, except on the inside bottom where your tongue is on your bottom teeth. And my dentist told me that's because we changed our diet, and that changes our saliva, and that changes our saliva glands, and it causes the tartar to form more in the bottom of the mouth. No other carnivores have it anywhere else but the bottom teeth inside. And I do too. And we've all talked about that. You asked me that about anything with your mouth, and I just wanted to bring that up. So,
that's really interesting.
yeah.
Wow.
It's literally on the
Okay.
inside where your tongue is on the back of your bottom teeth. And it's just in the front because it has something to do with the saliva glands. He explained it to me, and I can't explain it, but it has something to do with the saliva glands on the inside bottom of your mouth by changing your gut biome, basically, and by going
Mhm.
carnivore and eliminating all the processed foods.
So, since you've been on carnivore 3 years, which is a pretty good amount of time, have you seen your doctor, talked to your doctor about things like cholesterol or anything related to your heart?
Yes. So my doctor says that my blood work is better than it's been in like 20 years. They say my blood work looks great because I had the weight loss surgery. When I have a physical, they normally do this huge blood work panel. So they check everything under the sun, minerals, everything. Okay. The normal stuff you check, and then 100 more. So they said that my blood work is better than it's been in 20 years. Back in 2014, someone in my family was diagnosed with having a blocked artery, and they had to have a stent at 39 years old. So that kind of scared me. So I went to my doctor and I said, "Hey, I'm a little scared about this. My dad had open heart surgery. Now this person in my family had to have a stent. Do we need to check me out?" And they were like, "Well, we can do a CAC score." Okay. Now this was in August of 2014. I had weight loss surgery in January of 2013. So I would have been a year and 8 months out from weight loss surgery, and I'd lost like 85 pounds. When I had my CAC score done, it was 265. Okay. And I have paperwork on all that. It was 265. So I had that done then, and they said, you might want to think about a statin. And I said, nah, I'm really not interested in a statin, but if it gets worse, I'll get back with you. Well, nobody's ever said anything about it in 10 years. It's never even been brought up again. Of course, my cholesterol's always been about 180, 190, nothing high. Since I've become carnivore, it's like 230. Anyway, so this year, when I went to get my physical in January, I said, hey, remember when we did that CAC score 10 years ago? Oh, yeah, that's in your charts. I said, do you think we should repeat that? Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Let's repeat that. Okay. So they repeated the CAC score this year, and it was a 16.
Congratulations. That's a massive reduction. That's awesome.
Well, anything that you Google or anything that you look up online says there's no physical way, no medical way, no way to lower your CAC score whatsoever. And I'm sure mine was carnivore. I mean, you think about it, there's no telling what it was before I ever had weight loss surgery. Then here I was a year and 8 months out from weight loss surgery when I had it done the first time. Then I have it done now. And, I mean, I was yo-yo dieting all those years. So there's no telling how high it really went at some point.
Wow, that's great news.
And my A1C has never really been checked until I went carnivore and I started pursuing. Hey, check my A1C. Let's see what my A1C is, and it's like 5. It's like 5.0. But there's no telling what it was when I used to eat, truckloads of ice and truckloads of white chocolate Reese's. Nobody ever checked it. I mean, I probably was very borderline diabetic and didn't even know it.
Yeah. It's great when people become carnivore. They get so interested in this stuff. They're interested in all their numbers, and it's
Yes.
good. But I also wish I'd had all those numbers from years ago so I could compare what's actually happened.
I'm just lucky I had that CAC score done then. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had one either. And then somebody said, well, did they use the same machine? Was it the same tech? What? I doubt they even have the same machine 10 years later. And I know it's certainly not the same tech,
Yeah.
but it's still a CAC score, I mean, it's still done the same way. Like I said, I have the paper, I have the record, the documentation of it.
How this has been 3+ years. So how has your family and friends reacted to this?
Well, used to, they would say, here she comes. What's the diet of the week? What's it going to be this week? I'm just kidding, but not really. I'm really serious. It was, like I said, I did everything on demand. And when I started carnivore, they're kind of like, oh, here she goes, But now they see how much weight I've lost. They see how much younger I look. They see that I have more energy than I had before. They see that my mental clarity is like really good. I don't have to think about things, or how you say, oh, what's the name of that, or what's this name or that name. I don't do that anymore. I have mental clarity that's just amazing. And as carnivore, we always want to help everybody that we can, but carnivore is not for everybody. I mean, it's you want it to be, but it's really not for everybody. There are some people who are just not willing to give up, carbs, bread, sugar, pasta. But my family supports me in it. They don't, if we go to a family event, they'll say, we're having such and such meat. Are you good with that? Yeah, I'm good with that. And if for some reason, just say I went somewhere and they had a spaghetti dinner, I would just take either a steak or 2 or 3 hamburger patties with me, and that's what I would eat while they ate spaghetti.
So you just got back from Tennessee, right?
I did. I attended Meat Stop 2024.
Yeah. How was that event?
Oh my gosh, it was absolutely fabulous. It was actually 2 events. So one started on Friday, and people arrived on Friday, and that one went till Tuesday morning. And then on Tuesday morning, those people checked out. And then the second set of people came in Tuesday afternoon, and they were there until Saturday morning. It was absolutely fabulous. We had great speakers. We had wonderful people. We even had somebody attend from Germany and someone from Ireland.
Yeah, I've seen some photos. It looks great.
Mhm.
But one of the photos I saw that was very interesting, Scott, one of the organizers from Wired for Healing,
Mhm.
I saw him holding a plate of, I think it was lamb's testicles or something like that. He was cooking up. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
we
was an
had a
interesting meal.
yeah, we had a what they called a mystery meat night. And if you wanted to try some of the mystery meats, you could. So yeah, we actually visited a local farm there where a lot of the meat, all the meat came from, basically. It was an awesome event. I mean, it's so cool to be around like-minded people and and eating carnivore and having it cooked for you and the view and the house that we stayed in was spectacular. It was in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
That's awesome. And like there was some of the were you a speaker there, Audra?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you were a speaker, and like the also Sean Baker was there, right?
Mm-hmm. And
Oh, wow.
Dr. Kiltz,
Oh,
Sally Norton, um, Serena was there, Courtney Luna was there, Kelly Hogan was there, Emily Penton was there. There was a lot of us. I don't want to leave anybody out, but I can't
that's
think of everybody
awesome.
right this second. Yeah,
That's awesome.
it was great.
Um,
We had so much fun. They did workouts. There was a hill, and Dr. Baker had him up there, had him out there running up the hill backwards. So I did not partake. I've got some sciatica nerve issues, and I was like, I don't think that would be a good idea right now.
yeah, I think I would have abstained from the running uphill backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, nice. So, where does all this go for you from here? You carnivore for life?
Yes, definitely. And I'm not that person that we go to a birthday party. Used to, my favorite thing was to go to birthday parties and baby showers because I knew they were going to have icing. They're going to have cake icing or cupcake icing. So for me, when I go to those now, people are like, oh, just have one. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Someone who is what was an alcoholic and now they've been sober for 3 years, you wouldn't say to them, just have one beer. It's okay. No, 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 that starts you back down that road, and it is a very slippery slope. There was actually a gentleman at the retreat who said that he had had sobriety for 25 years. He said, and me listening to you talk about your sugar addiction, he said, it's identical. He said, it's identical to what you're saying. You have to break the addiction. And if you delve back in it at all, you're going to get addicted again. So for me, yes, carnivore has to be for life. I have finally found the one thing for me that I can do that is sustainable and it stops the sugar demon in my head. I mean, they say that sugar is 10 times more addicting than cocaine. I've never done drugs, I've never smoked, I don't drink, so I don't really know, but I know how bad the sugar addiction was. It was bad. I mean, I would just, there were places we have a local Krispy Kreme donuts in North Carolina. Like I would go out of my way to go by there because I know I wanted donuts. And for a long time, when I was trying to become carnivore, I would go way around to keep from going by that place. And now I can go by it, and I'm just like, I got food freedom. I'm no longer addicted. I no longer have the cravings, and I no longer have that little guy standing on my shoulder going, oh, just have one. No. Mm-mm. And that's the one thing that I never did with all the other diets that I did. I never totally gave up sugar and carbs. And that's why I would always lose weight and do good, but always go back to it. I couldn't keep the weight off.
So, Audra, can you tell us about your YouTube? What kind of videos have you got on there, and how can we find you?
So I have a YouTube channel and it's called All Things Audra. And I have a lot of videos on there about dehydrating meat and about the carnivore journey and just going and doing the things that we do as carnivores and some of the retreats and the meetups. And I do have a website as well, and that's allthingsaudra.com. I do coaching on Tuesday nights. I have a Zoom call from 8 to 9 p.m. on Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday nights, and you can find a link to that on my website. And I'm also on TikTok under All Things Audra. And my Instagram is a little different. My Instagram is carnivore _ private _ I, EYE. So it's carnivore private eye.
Nice. Well, I'll link to all those below. And Audra, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.